Carl. A couple of other notes at this presentation here. Remember, B was the one that invited C to come. And actually, B as the bridge also invited A, Andy, to come as well. So if you're going to pick up the check, whose responsibility is it to pick up the check? And the answer is, typically it's B. Now sometimes your advisor may volunteer to pick up the check, okay? But that's up to the advisor, and it doesn't happen all the time. If you really want to show respect, you should probably even turn them down. You know, no, I've got this one. Because remember, how you treat A has a bearing on how A appears in the eyes of C. Okay? How you treat Andy affects how Carl sees Andy and what Andy has to say. And so that's why customarily I would encourage the bridge, the B, to pick up the check. Another thing to remember, as you leave, as you're walking A to the door and excusing A, you have the opportunity then to ask for any feedback. That's when A might turn to you, Andy might turn to you and say, you know, Carl seems really interested in the products, but I think you need to bring him to a group meeting so he can kind of see the bigger picture. He might give you that kind of advice, or he might, as you're walking out, he might say, you know, Carl seems really interested, but you should leave a couple of samples with him to try. Or he might tell you, I think Carl's ready to go. Go ahead and get the application out and tell him you want to work together. And so that kind of advice that's a time that A can give you some short advice. And it's going to be just short. It's going to be a few sentences. He's just going to give you his read on Carl's reaction. Now, after you've excused A, you go back to the table, and that's when you can sit down again with Carl, and that's when you can say, what do you think? You can turn to him and say, come on, let's do this. We can do this. You make the invitation. It's not A's responsibility. It's not Andy's responsibility to make the final invitation. That's your responsibility. You're the one that has the relationship. So that's when you can go back to Carl and say, hey, you really ought to try these products. Or these are great products. I love them. I know you'll love them too. Or you can come back and say, you know, this is a great business. Let's do this. We can do this. And that's when you can make that invitation. Now, there will be some times when you come back to do that follow-up. Follow-up doesn't always happen at once, okay? Sometimes you'll go back to the table and Carl's just on fire. He's ready to go. It was so powerful and he was so prepared that just that one short meeting, it might have only been 30 minutes, was enough to get him, to help him make the decision that he wants to get involved as well. But other times, he'll need some additional information. He'll need some additional exposure to it as well. And so you can come back and say, hey, that was great. What I'd like to do is bring you to the next meeting so you can meet someone else. Maybe it's not Andy anymore. Maybe it's Alan. You've got a different A that you want to introduce and say, you know, Alan's doing a meeting on Tuesday night. You really ought to come talk to Alan. If you thought Andy was good, Alan's even better. Something like that where you encourage them to come to a second exposure. And that's part of that follow-up. So again, that's not A's responsibility, it's B's responsibility to follow up with C, and then afterwards report to A. After it's all over, give Andy a call and says, Andy, I want to thank you again for coming out. I really appreciate your time. Just to let you know, Carl has started on the products. He's going to be trying the rebound, and he wants to do the business. So he'll be at the next meeting that we're having on Tuesday night. And that's where you do a follow-up, where you report back to A. Okay? So you've contacted C, Carl. You've brought Carl, C, to meet A. A presents to C. You followed up with C. You report to A. And then, when C's ready to go, C becomes a B. Now, Carl then goes out and he goes through the same training you just did. He watches the CD, he reads the manual, and he's ready. He understands this ABC system. And once he's got this system now, this system of success, all he has to do to be successful, to get started in this business, is to do exactly what you did, and that is to be a B. So Carl then becomes a bridge, and he goes out, he makes his contact list, and he starts to contact his people. And when he does that, there are times that you will then step up and become an advisor. And that's one of the reasons it's important when you're doing a presentation that you learn to give the presentation as you're sitting there. Take notes, you know, be interested, learn how to do this, learn what's effective, what seems to work. But there will be other times that you might have other people that can be A's. It doesn't have to be just one A. It can be your sponsor, it can be upline, it could even be crossline. Typically it's your sponsor or someone in your upline, but you can have multiple A's and you will become the A for your people as they start to do the same pattern as well. Okay? Everybody starts as a bridge. The bridge is the most important thing you do. Everyone came in, you were a contact or a client or a customer, you become a bridge, and as you build more bridges, then you'll become an advisor and you'll become an A. And you can have, again, multiple A's. If you have somebody that's got a lot of success in network marketing, you might want to use someone else that's real successful in this business that has a comparable level that they can be your A. And it's generally a good idea to have multiple A's. Sometimes your A's won't be in person. There might be the time that maybe you're sponsored from someone across the country or even from another part of the world. You can get involved in this business and still use an A over the phone. With our new DVDs, with the websites and the things we have online, you can actually do part of this presentation over the phone where you go down there, you sit with them, you watch the mineral story or another DVD, and afterwards you get on the phone with Andy and Andy can talk to Carl. Remember, it's going to be the respect that you show, and you've only got a short period of time there when you're in front of Carl to show that respect. It's best if it's in person, but if it's not in person, it can be over the phone. You can also do this in a group setting. You can say, hey, I really want you to meet Andy. And you know Andy's really busy. So you call Andy up and you say, you know, Andy, this next Tuesday I'm bringing a friend. I'm bringing Carl to the meeting on Tuesday. And I'd like you to say, if you have a few moments, just to say hi to Carl. I'd like him to meet you. And that way, if you've let Andy know that, when you bring Carl to the meeting, Andy can say, Carl, it's great to meet you. I've heard all about you from Bob. So you can do this. This A can happen one-on-two. It can happen over the telephone. It can happen in a group setting. Sometimes your first day might actually be a tool. It might not even be a person. Hey, I've got a DVD I really want you to see. And that's what we used to do with the Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Hey, I really want you to listen to this tape. And you don't give them the whole story of the Dead Doctors Don't Lie. You tee up the Dead Doctors Don't Lie, and then the person wanted to listen to it. So you can use a tool. Tools are good, but people are better. So that's the ABC system, and it's the system for success. When you get in this business, get good at being a B. Here's your steps, and as you follow these steps and duplicate these steps, you'll see your organization grow and grow. And you can start to reach those kind of incomes that are your goals in this business as well. Now that we've explained the ABC pattern, let's show you a few examples of what not to do. These are bad B examples. And in these examples, I will be A, Andy.
I'm Bob.
I'm Carla.
In this scene, Andy and Bob are outside of Carla's restaurant.
Andy, Carla owns this restaurant. She's a good friend of mine. I want you to meet her.
Okay.
All right, come on in.
Thanks.
Hey, Carla.
Hi, Bob.
How are you?
What brings you in?
Oh, just wanted you to meet Andy.
Andy. Hi, Andy.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
All right, well, Andy, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Take it away.
Do your thing. Andy should be alone soon, Carla. Sorry, he's always late.
I know people like that.
Yeah, he's a good guy. You know, we used to be roommates. You know, he's a bit of a slob, but he's all right. But he should be here. Oh, there he is. Andy, come on in. Have a seat. Speak of the devil.
Hello, Bob.
Oh,
good to see you.
good to see you, Andy.
Hi, Andy. Nice to meet you. I'm Carla.
Pleasure to meet you, Carla.
You know, Andy met with me a few weeks back, and he roped me into this scam, and I figured if I'm going to do it, you got to do it too. So here we are.
Andy.
A scam. I'm Andy.
I've seen such a difference. Most people get a lot of energy, even from a single sample. Bob, do you have a sample for it?
Samples? I thought you were bringing samples.
No samples. Okay. Never mind about the sample. We'll get you a sample. What we'd like to do then is at least leave you with the application to take a look at and the order form. Bob, do you have the application of the order form?
I thought you'd have those. Yeah.
Okay, Bob, I think we need to talk about what it means to be a bee.
All right, come on in.
You two are a little scary. I think I'm out of here.
Here's where the minerals come from. They're an ancient plant deposit from millions and millions of years ago in this rainforest in central Utah. There's covered in a thin layer of volcanic ash and lava, and anyways, they've compacted over time, and they're free from pollution. They're all plant derived. They have incredible benefits.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in a meeting.
Oh, sorry. Let me tell you about our products. The products, they really make a difference. People use them and love them. Let me tell you, the first time I started to... You know, Bob, I think that's a little inappropriate. Carla, these products, they're just phenomenal. I can't tell you the energy that people feel, that I feel as I use these products. Look at them. They've got 77 different plant minerals. They've got all of these phenomenal results. We've got world-class athletes that are using these products and seeing phenomenal results. I'm sorry. And I can tell you in closing that I've really seen such great results with the products, that people all over the country are seeing phenomenal results with these products. Don't you think so, Bob?
Yeah.
Well, Bob, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story?
Well, I mean, I was hoping to make some money. You know, I bought the product, spent a lot on them. They didn't really do anything for me, but you know, if you can make money, then. Yeah.
Andy here. Andy's a good guy. You'll really like him. He's got a lot to say. He's got this presentation for you, and he's gonna tell you all the ins and outs. You know, the first time I heard Andy, I couldn't believe it. I didn't sleep for weeks. I was so excited about it. Yeah, it was great. You're gonna love it. It's really good. Andy's a good guy. I went to school with him. We're good friends. Yeah, go ahead, Andy.
All right. Well, Carla, this company was founded by Dr. Joel Wallach.
Dr. Joel Wallach's a good guy, too. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard his tape, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. It's a great one. He talks all about people dying and all these diseases and stuff. It's a good tape. I've listened to it thousands of times.
Wow.
You'll love it. I'll get you one for sure.
And
Go ahead.
Dr. Wallach, he was doing this research on animals.
He did a lot of research, like years and years of research. He did like autopsies and all this stuff, and like he's pulling insides out of animals, and it's amazing all the stuff he's discovered. Like looking under microscopes, and you're gonna love Dr. Wallach.
Anyways, what he found is that, you know, animals weren't living how they were supposed to.
How long does your animal live? I mean, do you have any pets, like a dog or a cat?
Excuse me?
How long does your dog live? Like, how long do normal dogs live?
I don't know, like 15 years?
Yeah, like normal. Like Dr. Wallach, they live longer when they're Dr. Wallach's dogs.
Anyways, you know, he started to implement more nutrition in these animals' formulas.
Nutrition's important for dogs.
Yeah. And they started, actually, our dogs live twice as long now as they used to. You ever heard, you know, one of our years is worth like 7 years to a dog.
Yeah.
Years?
How long is your dog? 15 years, you said? So multiply that times 7.
Okay.
And he found that, you know, by doing that, they actually raised it. There was a time when dogs only lived to be 10 years old. Today,
Nobody understands how smart he is. I mean, like, there's people saying he's a quack. There's people, it's just none of that. But it's just not true. None of it's true. None of it.
And if I can continue on.
Please. This is he's getting to the good part.
Yeah. And anyways, this company.
How long do you have anyway? I mean, I don't want to take too much.
2 minutes.